match. 1 fall, 15-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun, the referee.
Okay, we're about ready for the bell to go. Bell time, and here we go. Dundee and Beautiful Bobby. I'm going to ask a friend of mine, Jimmy Cornette, to come in and sit down. I think many of you folks who've been around wrestling for quite some time have seen Jimmy, and if you don't know him by name, you certainly know him by seeing him there with that camera. Jimmy is one of the most prolific photographers in all of the wrestling world. He's had many, many stories and items in Wrestling News magazine. He has been kind of the spark plug behind Championship Wrestling magazine. And now, Jimmy, as I said, I've known for a good many different years. Jimmy and his mother, and they're at all of the matches. We see him around, and Jimmy has told me that he's going to get into the wrestling business and the managerial end of it. And Jimmy, I think it's awfully interesting that you are going to take that avenue of wrestling.
Well, Lance, first of all, I appreciate the opportunity to come out here today, and I always enjoy it, especially with the introductions you give me. And that's exactly right. I've made the statement around the area several times. I'll make it here again for the benefit of the people that don't know about it. All my life, I've loved professional wrestling, and since I'm not big enough to be a wrestler myself, the only way I'll be directly involved is to be a manager. Now, you know, the word manager brings up a lot of negative connotations with people. They think of Jimmy Hart standing right over here, and Jim Dillon. And I don't want to be like that because, Lance, you see, like I've said before, I have an advantage. I come from a wealthy family. My mother has money. And I want to use this advantage to get into the wrestling profession.
Well, I think that's fine, Jim. Let me ask you this. Who do you like in terms of wrestlers that you would like to try to sign up?
Well, as I've said, since I'm investing my mother's money in this, and she said that I could do it if I wanted to, I don't want to invest in someone like Bobby Eaton, Sweet Brown Sugar, people like that. I don't want to invest my mother's money in trash, actually. What I'm looking for, and I've been talking to different wrestlers, including Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, Steve Keirn, Stan Lane, anyone that I think I could get along with personally as well as professionally, because I want someone with some class, and Hartsmen don't have it.
Well, then, as I understand it, you will be in competition with Jimmy Hart. You won't be on the same side as the first family.
Well, I sincerely hope there won't be competition because I don't want him to be any competition to me. I'd like to run him completely out of this area along with anyone else. J.J. Dillon, whatever.
In the ring, Bill Dundee and Beautiful Bobby.
You got the guy's a loud mouth.
Yes. I don't think anybody would argue with you that. Bill Dundee and Beautiful Bobby in action up there as we are sitting talking with Jimmy Cornette, who, well, let me ask you, have you gotten into any serious negotiations yet? Are you close to signing anybody, Jimmy?
I've been talking to a lot of people. I don't really know whether I should call any negotiations serious yet or not.
Put on the rope, pardon me, just a moment in there as the Bill Dundee got a 2 count on him. But Billy was pretty well at home as he had that foot up there on the rope. Beautiful Bobby now with that right hand clobbering away. And the referee calls for a break, gets one right back to the throat. And the referee is going to get another break in here, Jimmy.
Dundee's a fantastic wrestler. There's almost no way to beat him. You can't keep his shoulders down. But as I was saying before, I don't want to call any negotiations serious yet because I want to keep all options open. But what I've done is I've contacted a number of people that have been in the sport for quite some time in an advisorial capacity, to be an advisor, trainer, whatever, because there's a lot of aspects of the business I don't know about. The business dealings, contracts, I know the sport. The business negotiations is what I'm going to have to learn about.
Well, I would say this to anybody who's getting into a different, new kind of business. I certainly am not telling you what to do, but you want to be careful when you invest your mother's money into buying talent in there, so you'll need to know a lot about it, I think.
I definitely want to be careful, but as I've said, I've loved professional wrestling all my life, and this is my dream to be directly involved. And as such, since I've followed it this long and studied it, I know at least the professional side of most of the wrestlers currently active in the country. I've just got to find out about the personal side because I've said I want someone with class. I don't want to invest my mother's money foolishly. But when I went to her and I said, Mama, I want to be a manager. This is what I want to do with my life. She said, Whatever makes you happy, because this is the only thing, Lance, in my life that I've not gotten that I wanted. And now I'm going to have this, too, with her help.
Well, that's very fortunate, Jimmy. Bill Dundee, boy, I'll tell you what, he and Eaton have had one of those classic fireball matches, and we knew it. Jimmy, all right, look at that ring. Now, let me advise you one thing. Don't take up any of that. Oh, here comes Sweet Brown Sugar. Now,
No class. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is ridiculous.
disqualification will be against Beautiful Bobby, and the winner is going to be Bill Dundee by disqualification. But Sugar comes in, jumps in with Bobby Eaton and Jimmy. Here comes Steve Keirn. Okay, go right off, Jim. Now, they're not going to bother you over here. Just stick around.
I don't really want him to get close to me over here.
There goes. Well, I'll tell you, they couldn't have had two better guys come out there, Steve Keirn and Terry Taylor. Steve, thank you for breaking up that Terry also. Thank you very much.
Something last night, a guy back there on Hart's side just started sweating his body. You know, every time since I've been here, I've seen guys jumping in constantly. Bill Dundee asked us to watch this match because he's worried about somebody jumping his back. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I got a message for you, Hart, and I got a message for them two geeks that work for you. Anytime you want to jump in the ring, come on out here and jump in the ring with me and Taylor, because we're ready. And I'll tell you something else. If you want to jump in on anybody's match, you just be watching behind your back, because we're here, and every time you get an opportunity, you're going to see our faces, because we're going to be jumping in right behind you.
Steve Keirn and Terry Taylor looking for those Southern Tag belts, and boy, let me tell you, they are primed, two real physical specimens, and you saw Eaton and Sugar decide it was time to get it on and get out of here, so by golly, they did that. Yeah, Jerry, appreciate you coming out too, Jerry, and helping out there.
Bill's fine and everything. I wanted to... Could you come around here for a second, Jimmy Cornette? I wanted to talk for just a second with Jimmy Cornette, if we could.
Well, we've been talking with Jimmy about his career.
Well, you know,
trying to get in.
Now, a lot of people don't know Jimmy Cornette yet, but Jimmy's been around wrestling, as he says, for a long, long time, and he's probably the greatest, Jimmy, you're probably the greatest wrestling photographer that I've ever seen. And I know, I get a lot of pictures from him. I have a whole room, the entire room is wallpapered with my pictures that Jimmy Cornette has taken, and he's got money. You know, he's talking about money, I know, because he charges enough for those pictures, believe me. But, and his mother, you talked about your mother. I heard you talking about your mother. That's really nice. It's really nice when a guy feels that way about his mother, that he would come out here in front of thousands of people and talk about it like that. His mother is loaded, Lance. She is rich. She is so rich. She's got alligator bags under her eyes. That's how much money she's got. I want to say. Well, now, loaded is kind of a low term, Jerry. No, I'm not. I'm only kidding about that. But she's a fine lady, and she really, Jimmy and her are real close, and I understand that she is going to finance your endeavor. And
that's what Jimmy was telling.
Well, that is wonderful. Does she also pick out your clothes and everything for you, Jimmy? Well, I'm just... No, she helps me. She helps me. I'm just kind of kidding with Jimmy. I know she helped you. I can tell she helped you because I looked at the outfit, and the first thing that is a dead giveaway, I want the camera, if you can, to kind of get down low. You remember, Lance, when you were a kid, little kid, and your mother say, okay, time to go to the shoe store, and you'd say, all the kids got Nikes or tennis shoes. I want some tennis shoes. But no, your mother would always buy you a pair of shoes like this. Look at this.
Oh, Jerry, you're terrible.
Did you get a shot of the shoes? Come on, just real quick. Have they got a shot of them yet? There you go. All right. Those are typically bought mother dress shoes, and the boxer shorts. Does she buy you the boxer shorts? Well, I've got a couple of pairs, but
okay.
No, he's a good guy. Now, are you making fun of me? No, I'm not making fun of you.
Let me get back into something. I know you're a particularly good friend of Jimmy's, and the
reason I want to come out, I'm just kind of teasing with him a little bit. I think a lot of people, because he says he wants to be a manager, got the wrong impression about Jimmy. Jimmy is a fine young man. How old are you, Jimmy?
He is.
I'm 20. He's 20 years old, and his mother is taking good care of him up to now.
Jerry, okay.
He gets something wrong with him, you know, she coddles him, pampers him.
You are incorrigible. That's what you
Jimmy,
are.
but that's okay. Everything's fine.
Let me ask you this. Now, how about signing? He's a good friend of yours. Jimmy's ready to go. He's expressed an interest in it. I know he's talked to you and mentioned something to you about it.
No, he talked to me
about signing up with it.
Well, like I said, Jimmy is a fine young man, and I'm sure that he and his mother probably know a lot about wrestling from taking pictures and everything. But I haven't had that good luck lately with managers, so probably, Jimmy, if you look, find somebody else, would be good. There's a lot of guys with the kind of money you got.
I would pay any price for you because you are the best. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. You know that.
Okay, but I'll pass on that offer. I appreciate it anyway, Jimmy. Thank you. Anyway, I just wanted to come out and have a little fun with you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jerry, for being out here. And you got. When you get out of here, Jimmy, thanks for coming out. Best of luck, and however it goes, buddy. We got to take time out, and we're going to be back in just a moment. Here comes Jimmy with a big Ugandan giant. And here he is, Jimmy Hart.
Live and in living color.
Kamala.
What Jimmy Hart wants, Jimmy Hart gets, man. You know what? I really realized the man was mistreated. Can you imagine? This man, Kamala, the Ugandan giant, has never, ever tasted a watermelon in his life. He don't even know what a watermelon tastes like or looks like. Can you imagine depriving this giant of that? Can you imagine? Kamala has never even been with a woman in the United States. He hadn't even partied with any girls or anything. And you know the parties the first family has, Russell. Can't you imagine Kamala, a big watermelon party with Kamala and all those pretty little girls and a big party? This man will go crazy. Watermelons and women, Kamala. Woo! My champion.
I'm still waiting to find out. I'm kind of getting the gist of it here.
Well,
how you got Kamala.
Well, I'll tell you later, but let me just say something right now. What I want to talk about is to you, Dutch Mantell. Now, Dutch, I want you to pay attention. If he's not looking in the back, somebody please get him back there because this is important, baby. When Dutch Mantell was in the family, Dutch had the Southern belt and the Mid-America belt. Am I right or wrong?
That's true.
And he was my first lieutenant when I had the family back then when Dutch was with us. But then Dutch, he went and started talking to Lawler and Dundee and all these people, and they swayed him over, and they said, man, you don't need to be with Jimmy Hart because Jimmy Hart will cheat you. He is no good. But now, where's Dutch Mantell? He is in Never Never Land. He don't have no belt. All he's got is that old whip of his. So what I'm trying to say, Dutch, is you need to be in the family, baby. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Listen, think about it, Dutch. Now think, why in the world are you fighting Kamala on TV today? Do you have a championship match with him? You don't? Well, let me tell you why. Exact the reason why everything's like it is now, baby. Eddie Marlin and Dundee are just like that. Just like that. They live close to each other. Matter of fact, Dundee cuts Eddie Marlin's grass. He polishes his car. He goes over to Eddie Marlin and says how pretty that big old pimply-faced, ugly wife of his looks. He goes, oh, she looks so thin. She's so gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? And I can just see him out there now polishing Eddie Marlin's car, polishing around. And he said, you know, Eddie, come here, Eddie. You know, Eddie's hard of hearing, so we had to call him way over to him and said, Eddie, listen, man, I just been thinking. As a matter of fact, I love this car, but, you know, I've been thinking that Dutch Mantell, boy, he is pretty tough, you know, and it's a rough match. And I ain't scared of him now, but I just thought, why don't you maybe put him and Kamala on TV, and maybe Kamala might hurt Dutch, and then when I fight Dutch this week, Dutch, man, he won't even be able to get in the ring with me. What do you think, Eddie? And old Eddie, kind of being senile in the first place, right, fell right into it. So that's why that match is here, Dutch, because Dundee got to Eddie Marlin, baby. So I'm giving you a chance. You're a smart man, brother. You're a smart man. You need to be with Jimmy Hart in the first family. If you come with me, baby, look, I've got Kamala. Look at it, Eaton and sugar. I've got the world at my feet, man. We have got you. We are the future. So, Dutch, be a smart man, baby. Smart enough.
Jimmy,
get on the right side.
We got a match.
I don't care what you do. You know who you're talking to. Evidently, you don't.
I don't have
Dutch,
to listen to
Dutch,
it, Jimmy.
come out here.
No.
Come on.
We're going to get the match underway, Jimmy. I don't want to hear it.
Come on, Dutch.
Will you stop trying to monkey up the show and just get on up there and get a match? Dutch
This thing's been so dull in the first place till I came out here.
Yeah.
Come on, Dutch, think about it, baby. You got a match. You're going to get hurt, brother. All right.
You got...
All right. I knew he was a smart man.
Well, he's got a match coming up there with him.
Super.
We got the match coming up, Jimmy, so just leave it alone.
You know, Hart, a lot of people trying to sign me. Jimmy Cornette's trying to sign me. You're trying to sign me. But I'm a free agent, Hart. I'm my own man. And you're not a dumb man. You're a very smart man. But I'm going to say one thing, Hart. I wouldn't sign with you if you were the last man on earth. I would not sign with you because I was with you one time and I got screwed around, right or not? And I don't have nothing to do with it. But you are right about one thing. There's no need me to wrestle Kamala today because no belts are up. Nothing can be accomplished. So he's right about one thing. I'm not wrestling Kamala. Not today, though.
Hey, come on, Dutch. Now, you listen to this jerk right here. Come on back. You got a match scheduled in it.
Who did you jerk?
Somebody get Eddie, will you? Come on, Dutch. You got a match scheduled.
I can't believe that. I gave him the chance of a lifetime, man. Oh, big mouth. Don't call me big mouth, big nose. What do you want to say that for,
we
man?
had a match lined up in here with Dutch Mantell and Kamala, and now Dutch. Can we get Eddie out here?
Dutch, you can stay in the Stone Age, baby. You can be with a new wave, but that's the last time I asked him to do something.
Eddie. Dutch went walking out and said he's not going to wrestle.
I can't imagine him backing out of the match, but I'll deal with him later. But Jerry Lawler has agreed to take his place, so we can still have a match.
Let me just say a few words here to you, Mr. Hart, you little stinking slimy wimp, and listen up. Now, you can run all over the country and you can tell everybody that you won that belt for me, but you couldn't beat your way out of a wet paper bag, Funk. I'm the one that beat that big Ubangi, and I did it then, and I can do it any day of the week. Do you understand that? Now, I'll tell you what I'm fixing to do, Hart. I'm fixing to show you. You just take those little dark glasses off, get those little beady eyes of yours trained on that ring, because I'm fixing to take that big black jerk, and I'm going to beat that paint off his face, and then I'm going to wet his lips, and I'm going to stick him to that wall right over there, and then, Hart, I'm going to take you, and I'm going to do the same thing to you. Do you understand that?
Okay. Well, the match is getting a Dave. I guess we got a change in it.
All right.
This is no bad substitution in here as the match is underway very quickly.
No introductions really needed. Lawler out of Memphis, of course, at 228 pounds. Kamala at 380 out of Uganda. It is a one-fall match, 15 minutes to time limit.
Lawler not even in his wrestling attire. And he is really... comes Steve Keirn and Jerry Taylor in after Brown Sugar. And the King being held aloft and dumped down on the board. Look out. Yeah, watch the cameras.
Keirn and Eaton, Jerry Taylor and Sugar battling on the floor while Kamala works on Lawler in the ring.
Taylor and Sugar. Keirn and Eaton going at it in there. Meanwhile, Kamala up with the King. And he is 4-2, Lawler. Jerry down in the middle of the floor.
Hart called Eaton and Sugar out.
Kamala up there with that spear. Holding Terry Taylor and Steve Keirn off. And we got a little order finally restored as Hart starts out. Terry Taylor and Steve Keirn are helping Jerry Lawler out of there. Well, it'd have to be a disqualification, but in typical Hart fashion, once again, the First family interrupts the match and jumps into the ring, Dave. Let's take time out and see if we can get some order restored completely. We got other big action coming up, and we'll be back to it in a moment. tag team out of Florida going against the champions, Sweet Brown Sugar and Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Let's take a look at it. In the corner, you can do, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Did Taylor nail him with a forearm? I mean, yes. He really pounded Bobby Eaton in the corner. Terry from Vero Beach, Florida, California, Florida. Catches Eaton as he went over the ropes on the leapfrog, went over to the rope. Steve dramatically showing he was touching the corner, but he still was able to hit him with that forearm. Sugar holds up. And Terry Taylor drop kicks him into Keirn, and Keirn still gets him with a forearm. Taylor hangs on to a side headlock with Beautiful Bobby. Over the top comes, and as Eaton was going to pull a similar trick that Taylor pulled, Terry slipped out of the way. Eaton in the wrong corner had his hand up to tag, and Steve Keirn did the tagging, but right on the button. Shoots to right, takes the forearm. Whip into the corner. Keirn. Monkey flip as he tagged Terry Taylor on the way down. Beautiful drop kick. Sugar runs into Eaton. Taylor, another monkey flip. And Keirn and Terry Taylor looking very hot. Whips around, going for the abdominal stretch. Can't get a good hook on Beautiful Bobby. Jimmy Hart jumped up on the ring apron while the referee was separating Sugar and Keirn. He nailed Taylor in the back. And now Sugar takes a tag and tags back out to Eaton. You see, Hart figured it was worth the gamble to do the damage on Taylor. If he got disqualified, they still keep the belt. Beautiful Bobby now. Going after Terry Taylor. Slam by Beautiful Bobby, and Taylor down underneath the ropes is picked up by Sweet Brown Sugar. Sugar whips him in. Big clothesline, and boy, did he string him out. Wow. Sugar chin locks him, sits down on the spine, and Steve Keirn comes in, kicks him right out of there. 8.5 minutes in, and Steve Keirn trying to give Terry a little pep talk over there. Taylor puts a foot in the midsection to Eaton, but Sugar headbutts him from outside the ropes. And Beautiful Bobby, a knee to the midsection. Tag on Sugar. Double team, and Eaton is shooed out of there by the referee, but he doesn't go and drops an elbow and a leg from Sugar. Steve Keirn gets him out of there. Another big elbow from Sugar. Tag on Eaton. Without benefit of tag, clubbing away, and there goes Taylor over the top rope while the referee was in between Keirn and Eaton. At the 10-minute mark, Terry Taylor blistered and put down on the mat where Eaton and Sugar double teaming again. Sugar, man, you can hear that right hand popping Terry Taylor. Taylor swinging back. Sugar goes under it and comes back in again himself. Taylor taking quite a pounding. Double team. Sugar out. Eaton stays in. There's a tag on Steve Keirn. The referee arguing with Sugar. He probably didn't see it. That's what I thought. With Taylor being held, Sugar comes off the top rope, or the second rope. Steve Keirn being run out by referee Paul Morton, who did not see the tag. He was busily engaged with Sugar. Taylor trying to fight his way back up. Big shoulder, and Taylor may go to the well one too many times. He does a sunset flip, but Sugar right down on top of him. Knocks him off as Jimmy Hart had the referee looking away. Carrying the small package. And the referee runs Sugar back out of there. Eaton gives it up to Sugar legally this time. Approaching the 14-minute mark in action. Taylor now going for the corner, and there's a tag on Steve Keirn, but Bobby Eaton started through the rope. The referee was keeping him out again. He did not see Steve Keirn. Keirn about to have a piece of the referee. That's the second time he's tagged, but the referee's missed it. And Steve just says to heck with it and comes after Sugar and Eaton. He pulls. That's going to be a disqualification. 14 minutes, 23 seconds. The winners and still champions are Sweet Brown Sugar and Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Disqualification, 14-23.
Boy, was that a stem winder and a half, man. I got to tell you, sometimes I like that disqualification rule, and other times I don't like the disqualification and various things. We're going to take time out. We'll be back with the World Tag Team Champions in just a moment.
Out in great shape, boy.
Cornette, how you doing?
Jimmy wanted me to call you over here. He was out with us watching the match, and Aaron had some very kind things to say, as a matter of fact, during the picking there. Okay, Jimmy.
Bill, I want to make an announcement. You know what I've been doing the past couple of weeks. I've been going around, I've been scouting talent, and I've tried to find somebody that I want to manage. And after last week, I think you saw what happened. You were probably watching on the monitor or something. Jerry Lawler insulted me. And so I've been narrowing my list down just a little bit, and he, as my top choice, was crossed off the list. And so what I want to do right now...
So what you're telling me is...
I was your second choice, right?
Well, no, what I want to do is I want to make my first public offer. I want to make my first public offer. I want to offer you the chance to be managed by me. You couldn't hear what I was saying over here. I can make you...
He ain't making his first public offer. What you're making is your second public offer, so I'm just going to tell you something, Jimbo. No. I don't like being second to nobody and nothing. Jerry was obviously your first choice, so you just go back and talk to the king and see what he's going to say about it.
Bill, he insulted me. Well, I'm making my first public offer. I want to manage Bill Dundee. Bill, come here.
Well, apparently...
I can make you a star.
Oh, no.
Now, I don't want him to insult me again, Lance.
Well, Jimmy, Jerry.
Big one, Lance. This is a big one. I'm coming to you, Elizabeth. I'll be the one with no contract in my hand. Lance, I don't want him out here getting insulted. Do you mean that I didn't get the contract offer, Jimmy?
Now, let me tell you something, Jerry. You came out here last week. You made fun of my shoes. You made fun of my clothes. This man has... I thought you had class, but you don't.
Oh, Jimmy. Now, wait a minute.
Calm down.
Calm down a little bit, Jimmy. Now, don't get so excited out here. I didn't make fun. Wait a minute.
Now, Lance,
Wait a minute. Lance, fill this suit. Did your mother dress you this morning? This is a heavy wool suit. It must be 90 degrees outside. She put you in a winter suit today like this? Now, if you want some respect, come down here and act like an intelligent human being. Don't come down here like a little wimp like this and let your mother dress you.
You don't have any class.
You come down here talking about his mother. That's a big joke, man. Don't come out here like a little kid. If you're going to be like a man, don't come out here talking about your rich mother and all of this stuff. Is that right or not? Come on. We don't want to hear it, man.
Now, wait a minute. Now, Lance, I come out here and I try to do something serious. I'm being serious. At first, he comes out here, he makes fun of my shoes. He makes fun of my clothes. Dundee. I make this man a public offer. I can get him some publicity. I can do something for you. You don't realize what I can do for you. I've got access to as much money as I want. He isn't going to get the chance, but you are. If you want to take it, but you turn me down. I'm Jimmy Cornette. I get what I want. I'm not used to being treated this way. All right, you see this? You see this right here, Dundee? Come here, you see this?
Oh, a little temper.
You see this? Lawler, that was your name, Dundee. That's yours. I'm sick of being treated this way. I'm fed up with all of you. If you don't want, I can do something.
Well, our guest,
I believe you made him mad. Do you think you made him mad? Think he got mad?
I think that was a classic temper tantrum, don't you? His mother will probably be upset.
you guys are something. The king and the superstar. We're going to take time out, and we'll be back with Southern Tag information for you in just a moment.
Steve Regal will be here a little bit later on. We talked a little bit earlier and hinted to the fact of Southern Tag action. By golly, I'll tell you, one of the outstanding matches. You've got a couple of aggressive teams in Sweet Brown Sugar and beautiful Bobby Eaton that we'll see a little bit later on. They tangled with Steve Keirn and Terry Taylor, a couple of Florida representatives. You've got to see the highlights of this Southern Tag title match. Take a look.
Keirn hammered into Steve Keirn's knee. Steve takes over. And he dumps Sugar right down in the middle of the ring. Steps on his face. Hammered him with an uppercut. And Steve pushes Brown Sugar down. Look out. Jimmy Hart up on the ring apron, and Steve Keirn nails him. And Steve hit by Jimmy Hart with a chain. Hart rushed across there and nailed Steve. Keirn taking a shot now from Sugar Anytime you step in the ring with a king, you're trying to make an impression, and that's exactly what the Dream Machine's going to be doing. Here we go. Bell time, Dave.
Looking for a good match here. Dream Machine, of course, you know him. That's him. Going against the King. Non-title match. Jerry's AWA Southern Heavyweight belt is not on the line in this match. But the Dream Machine, I imagine, will be wrestling like it is.
Kamala will be coming up immediately following this match. Dave will have him in action, the big Ugandan.
Lots of action still to come on Championship Wrestling. Dream Machine backs Lawler into the corner. Oh, boy, he nailed him again with that right fist in the top of the head. That's twice he's gotten him in a corner and hit him with a fist.
Dream, since he's peeled off about 35 pounds, he really is moving much faster than he ever did in there. Lawler's seeing a piece of it right now. The Dream heading straight at him.
Lawler peels him across the ring with an arm drag. And Dream Machine starts yelling he had his tights full. He goes to the crowd when the crowd disagrees and says, yes, I did. Uh-oh, Dream Machine out of the ring. He's upset because the crowd wouldn't back up his story to the referee. Now back in the ring. Lawler set near the corner. Dream Machine backs to the center of the ring. We're a minute 50 seconds into this one. 1 minute 50 seconds gone. It's a 15-minute time limit match. Oh, and the Dream Machine putting the heat on the wrist.
Hey, Dream, all right.
Left arm of Jerry Lawler. Lawler, right fist double, and he lets it fly. Dream Machine knocked off his feet onto the mat, bounces up, back to the corner. And Jerry Calhoun, the referee, warning Lawler about the fist after Dream Machine had used it twice earlier in the match. Dream backs Lawler to the corner again. A whip and a reversal by Lawler. The Dream Machine bounces into the turnbuckles. Lawler goes in after him. Dream kicked him back. Drops down with the upper arm. Across the back of the neck.
Well, he blasted out of that corner. That's some of that speed we were talking about.
Dream Machine got Lawler off his feet. Lawler hung onto the rope. Whoa! Lawler knocked over the top rope. He was not thrown over. Had he been thrown over, that would have been the disqualification. But his momentum carried him over after Dream Machine hit him. Down on the floor, referee Jerry Calhoun trying to get that stopped and get him back in the ring. Lawler heads back for the ring. And Lawler run into the ring post. Now the Dream Machine back in the ring. Lawler under the rope. Dream pulling his hair, picks him up. Fires him into the rope. Ooh. Elbow. Lawler picked up in the air and body slam by Dream Machine. Dream bounces out of the corner, drops down to cover. 1, 2. And Lawler kicks out of it. That's a 2 count. Very close to a win there for the Dream Machine. Smacking those ears. Lawler back in the corner. Four and a half minutes gone. 4.5 minutes into the action, and the Dream Machine firing that fist first to left and then to right, and Lawler comes out of the corner, and he nails it. And again, the Dream Machine hits the mat, bounces up. Lawler with him in the air. Body slams him, says, how about the fist? Crowd says, yeah, and he lets him have it.
referee Jerry Calhoun counting all the time, trying to get him off using that fist.
5 minutes gone. 5 minutes gone. 10 minutes left to wrestle. Dream Machine. Lawler into the rope. Jimmy Hart tripped him. Hart came running in here and pulled Lawler's feet out from under him. Dream Machine with a cover. 2. Lawler's got a foot on the rope.
Yes, he does.
And just in the nick of time. Dream Machine thinks he's won it. Lawler from behind drops him down. Count of 3. Lawler gets the win. And boy, the Dream Machine is hot. Dream Machine got the 2 count on Lawler. Lawler put the foot on the rope. When the referee tapped Dream Machine on the back to say, hey, break it, the foot's on the rope, I think Dream thought he had won it at that point. He jumped up, arms raised in victory.
Well, he just got that victory.
Lawler slipped in behind him, then dropped him down, held him for the 3 count. It's Lawler that gets the win in the match. 5 minutes, 31 seconds the time.
Kind of an interesting situation. Lawler was fortunate that when he went down, Hart, of course, tripped him right there at the rope, but that he was close enough to be able to get that leg up on the rope, because I don't believe he had enough in there to be able to kick that big Dream off of it. But
all right. The WWA World Tag Team Champions have just stepped in the ring. Their opponents coming in here. This is a non-title match. Introducing at a total of 448 pounds from Union City, Tennessee, Sweet Brown Sugar, about to step into the ring. And his partner from Huntsville, Alabama, beautiful Bobby Eaton, their manager Jimmy Hart. The World Tag Team Champions at a total weight of 458 pounds, both from Indianapolis, Indiana, Spike Huber and Steve Regal. This match to the expiration of time. The referee is Jerry Calhoun. And the conversation continues. Brown Sugar and Hart talking to the crowd. Regal and Huber have removed the World Tag title belt. They're just kind of waiting for Hart to sort out the corner over here. Looks like it's going to be Bobby Eaton starting against Steve Regal. No title match, Bobby. It's a match, but the belts are not on the line.
Want the belts up now, Russell. Come on, want the belts up now.
Bell sounds, and Bobby Eaton shakes hands with Brown Sugar, and then Hart and Steve Regal comes firing out of the ring. He headed for Hart. Now he's back in the ring. And maybe we're going to get some action underway here. Regal against Eaton. Regal. Quite a move. Watch this team of Steve Regal and Spike Huber as the match progresses. You know, we've said many times, in order to be a championship caliber tag team, it does in fact take teamwork. One of the partners can't do it by themselves. And Regal and Huber really, really work in championship fashion as a tag team. Eaton forces Regal back onto the rope. Nice shoulder by Regal coming off of there. Eaton set. Regal steps over. And as Eaton turns, Regal is there with a body slam. And Eaton just literally bounces off the mat. Regal takes him back down, bars the arm. Eaton back on his feet. Hair pulling by Bobby Eaton. But he got to the corner in the tag on Brown Sugar. Regal moving him around the ring, and Sugar then backs up a couple of paces, sets himself, and says, hey, you better watch it, Steve Regal. Bobby Eaton and Sweet Brown Sugar, former holders of the AWA Southern tag titles. Well, which they recently lost to Steve Keirn and Terry Taylor. Well, congratulations all around for something there between Hart, Sugar, and Eaton. Meanwhile, Steve Regal waiting patiently in the center of the ring. Regal back to the rope. Whoa, Brown Sugar. Let's go with the right hand, and Regal ducks out of the way. And now it's Regal's turn to say, hey, I outsmarted you that time. 2.5 minutes gone. 2.5 minutes gone in the first fall. This is an expiration of time match. Might be one fall, might be 3 or 4. Just depends on how much time we have remaining. Brown Sugar nailed by Steve Regal, and he complains about it, and the referee says, you're the one that did that first, so I think we're back to even now, one apiece. He just explained exactly what happened. Regal was just returning the favor from earlier. Here's Spike Huber. Spike against Bobby Eaton. Now, Eaton and Sugar are starting the complaining. Time is running short here. We just noticed, quick glance at the clock, we've got a little less than 3 minutes left in the time limit. Just about 3 minutes from right now. Spike Huber against Bobby Eaton. Block. Huber set. He rolls Eaton down to the mat. And again he takes him down. And Eaton. Eaton heads for the corner for the tag on Brown Sugar. Now, did they make a tag, or is Eaton going to stay in there? Eaton's holding his back. Yeah, they made a tag. Here comes Sugar coming in. And Spike Huber just waiting for it there.
Well, there's a couple of blocky ones facing each other in there right now. Huber and Sugar.
Just thinking they're both about the same size, and they are both pretty doggone good shape. And Spike Huber is just set. He says, come on. Brown Sugar a little cautious. Couple of minutes left in the time in this first fall. The flip by Spike Huber. Good drop kick as he follows up. Sugar stood up. I don't know if he was in the wrong, thought he was in the wrong corner or not, but he was. And he was sent across the way by Steve Regal and Spike Huber. Spike makes the tag. Steve Regal back in there now. Sugar has not made a tag on Eaton as yet. He's hanging back in the corner. And they do not go for the tag. Brown Sugar stays in there against Steve Regal. Minute left. 1 minute.
We're down to 60 seconds to go in the action in there, and this very even match. Uh-oh. Well, Hart was talking to Calhoun. Bam, Eaton hit him from the outside.
Yeah. Bobby Eaton in there now. Whip Steve across the ring. Foot to the midsection. Time winding down. 15 seconds to go. There's a tag on Sweet Brown Sugar.
Time is up. But the fighting continues.
Didn't win anything. Jimmy, the time
was out. Dave, we're gonna have to say we'll be back after we check the time in just a moment.
toughest tag team match, well, Texas Tornado tag match that you will want to see. And we've got some tape of that match right now. In this one, it was Steve Keirn and Terry Taylor going against Sweet Brown Sugar and Bobby Eaton. And here is what happened in that Texas Tornado match.
Suplex. Beautiful. Terry Taylor. Sugar in trouble. Has lost 2 straight falls. Taylor drops with a knee down across the chin, and only a 2 count. Sugar back up, but back down. Uh-oh, as Taylor came off the ropes, it looked like Eaton might have hooked his leg. The referee was over talking to Hart, and we couldn't see it, but that sure looked like the move that we guessed at. I was going to say that we saw, but we honestly didn't see it. It's 2 falls to 1 at the present time. And the team of Taylor and Keirn are leading the first family representatives. Double team from Eaton and Sugar. Sugar follows with an elbow. Bobby down with a foot. And Eaton and Sugar just taking turns. Keirn will be in here and he'll nail somebody in just a minute. He chases beautiful Bobby. And I think Sugar is going to end up being the legal man. He is. Terry came out of the trouble okay. Well, he's not free, but at least he got to his feet. Steve Keirn came down the line, but he was too far out of the corner to take the tag. Side suplex. Taylor now back down hard on the canvas and in trouble. We're approaching the 10-minute mark, and at the end of this fall, whatever time it may be, we are going to take a timeout. So everybody at the stations along the line, stand ready. We'll be taking a timeout at the end of this fall. Terry Taylor down, stomped in the middle of the lower back. Sugar distracting referee Paul Morton. I thought maybe Hart would do some shenanigans, but he didn't. Tag on Sugar, and Sugar is in with a knee to the midsection. He really is concentrating on the midsection of Terry Taylor. Knee, 3 feet, reverse neck breaker, Taylor down, face first. This is the 4th fall. And Terry Taylor in trouble, but look at Steve Keirn. He just couldn't take it anymore. He came in and dropped a knee right in the back of Brown Sugar. Sugar tags Eaton, and Eaton is in. Eaton goes to work on Taylor. Keirn and Taylor, 1 fall up. That's 2 falls to 1. Eaton trying to even it up here. Chin locks Taylor, sits on the spine, lifts up on the head. There wasn't any tag. I'm not really sure it makes any difference, although there are rules to be followed, and of course the referee, had he seen them switch like that, would have had to break it up. Eaton was not tired. He was just switching out to Sugar, maybe because Sugar has the ability to put a little more pressure on that chin lock. Taylor slides under the ropes. That'll get a break for him. Overall, we've been in action 11 minutes and 31 seconds, including the rest periods. And Terry Taylor down with Sugar dropping a heavy knee right down across the chin. Count of 1, count of 2, and Taylor kicks out. You know, the instinct is so strong for wrestlers to kick out before that 3rd count. Many times in a Texas Tornado death match, you are better off taking the count, getting a 30-second rest, than you are trying to kick out and continue. That may have been the case with Taylor, but the instinct is ingrained too strong. Get out before that 3rd count, and that's what Taylor did. Now he's taking a continued punishment from beautiful Bobby. Big elbow puts Taylor back down on the deck, and Steve over hollering, "Come on, Terry. Fight it up, he's saying. Get back, get back." And Taylor does just that as he zings Bobby, but with not the most steam. That head hurt him a little more to the midsection. But Sugar comes through, stomps on him. We are in the 4th fall of action. Eaton and Sugar have been very dominant in this fall. And again, the falls are not what determine the winner. The punishment is what determines the winner. And I suspect that Eaton and Sugar might just like to continue this until they'd have Terry Taylor in such a state he could not answer the bell at the next fall. Sugar putting more punishment in. He didn't even try for the pin. You'll note that. I think Jimmy Hart hollered to Bobby, quit trying for an early pin on it. Let's get him beat. Sugar underneath, but Eaton comes in and double hands Taylor. Eaton had taken a tag from Sugar, so the entry is legal, but they did for a moment have a double team on him. Terry trying to crawl to the corner. Sugar and Eaton both go over. Sugar taking Keirn back, and Eaton cuts Taylor off. Oh, and Terry just missed. He swung wildly at Sugar from behind. And they are now roughing Taylor up, and here comes Steve Keirn. Boy, that Keirn, when he loses his temper, he gets bad news. They're choking Taylor over the top rope while the referee was running Keirn out of there. We're at the 15-minute mark, and we're in the fourth fall as Eaton and Sugar really pouring a heat on Terry Taylor. They're trying to end this at the end of this ball. They'd like Taylor not to be able to continue in that fifth ball. No, maybe we're a little premature. They haven't even won the fourth ball yet. Chin locked again, and Sugar sits down on his spine and pulls up. Beautiful Bobby. Terry Taylor fired into the ropes. Oh, Taylor kicks it out. He's tagging, but in a neutral corner. He's shaken up, and now he sees Keirn. He's heading for the corner. He makes the tag on Steve Keirn. Wow, what an escape for Terry Taylor. He needed that as a fresh Steve Keirn comes booming in. Land Sugar and Eaton low. Hart's distracting Steve Keirn. And this fourth ball is on and on and on. And Eaton now over with Steve, who is caught in the rope. And Eaton pulls the chair up, nails Keirn right in the elbow. And referee Paul Morton didn't see Taylor take a pile driver. Bobby Eaton using that chair on that bandaged elbow of Steve Keirn. Steve is caught in the top two ropes, and Eaton has about 6 times hit him right in the elbow. Terry Taylor laid out by a pile driver put on by Sweet Brown Sugar. I think most of you know that the disqualification rules are waived. The referee does not stop the bout on a disqualification. In a Texas Tornado death match, it goes until one wrestler cannot continue. Eaton just continues to lay on that chair on Steve Keirn. Here comes Bill Dundee, and Billy throws a towel in. He comes in to get Eaton. So the bout is going to be stopped at 17 minutes and 21 seconds. Dundee threw the towel in. He's over trying to get Steve Keirn loose. Now Sugar behind him nails Dundee with a chair. I think the victory is going to go to Sugar and Eaton, even though they use tactics certainly not in any kind of wrestling world. Brutal brutal stuff with a chair. Dundee nailed right in the face with that chair by Bobby Eaton. Steve Keirn is hurt, and I'm afraid hurt severely. Eaton just kept pounding on him on the elbow. Taylor knocked back out. We're going to have to wait and see the official verdict. This is terrible. Referee Paul Morton is not effective in trying to keep it down. The first family just simply letting all the stops out. Dundee came in, threw the towel in to stop Steve from taking any more punishment on the elbow. Billy, for his trouble, got his eye split open. And Sugar and Eaton just continuing. They need some more help. Here comes the promoter, Eddie Marlin. Referee Jerry Calhoun. They're in there going to try to help things out. But right now, there is no help, apparently, from Eaton and Sugar and Hart as they just continue to pile it in there. You can obviously hear the distraught fans hollering in my ear over the damage that's being done. This is the kind of thing that...
It's probably a good thing I didn't go ahead and finish saying exactly what I thought about that particular situation right there. As it was very predictable, Steve did get his arm injured. We have a videotape with Steve we wanted you to hear as an aftermath of it. Okay, let's take a listen.
You know, when I first became a professional wrestler, I never imagined sitting in a bed with my arm bandaged up and having to ask somebody else to fight my battles for me. But after what happened to me at the hands of your two goons, Hart, and me undergoing surgery, I realized that I'm in no position to fight for myself. So I've come to a friend, and I've asked him as a friend. There's no money involved in this, Hart. Bill Dundee and I are close friends. We were champions together. We were tag team partners together, and he fights like I do, Hart. So I know the man is capable of injuring somebody. And I've asked him as a friend that any time that he gets the opportunity to injure one of y'all, to make sure he does it well enough that you're laying in a bed like I am. Now, let me tell you this, Hart. I know that you've injured me to the point where I may never come back as a professional wrestler. As a matter of fact, when I left that hospital and I talked to that doctor after he operated on me, he never gave me a date when I'd start back. He never said, Steve, you'll be wrestling within 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. He just looked at me and said, I hope it mends well. Well, I got some hidden meaning from that doctor, and that hidden meaning was I may never come back as a professional wrestler. But you remember this, Hart, that when one of your men's laying in that bed bandaged up like I am, or when you're laying in that bed bandaged up like I am, it's going to be done by the hands of Bill Dundee, but Steve Keirn is going to be behind it, brother.
Some severe news on Steve, and we will just have to, from time to time, see how it goes and see how well the arm does mend. Brutal bout, no question about it. We've got more action coming up. We're going to be getting to it. We're going to have an opportunity to see a defense of the World Tag Team titles in just a moment. In fact, a disqualification, and typically the kind of thing that you would expect to come out of Jimmy Hart, and it was indeed. We have had in the past couple of weeks a chance. What we started out to find out about was a little bit about Jimmy Cornette's plans to be a manager, and Jimmy, I know that you have had a moment or two of rough treatment out here, but, you know, I guess that's all part of it.
Lance, I'm glad to be here today, even though I've had to buy this time. The past couple of weeks, I've been the object of ridicule, of embarrassment, of abuse, of anything else that you want to call it, at the hands of Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee while you stood by watching.
I was here.
My family name has been embarrassed. And although Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee don't seem to take me very seriously, I'm not the object of ridicule that the entire country, that they would have people believe the entire country thinks I am. I'm serious about this, as I've said before, and my mother's attorneys have come into it. I've negotiated with them, and they have been negotiating with people. If these freeloaders back here would be quiet, and I have here, if you don't mind, a notebook with a list of no less than 15 names that my mother's attorneys have had serious commitments with, and I don't want to reveal anyone. The book will stay closed. But to name drop just a little bit, because I am pretty happy about it. Terry Funk, Dory Funk Jr., Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, all either present or past NWA World Heavyweight Champions, and that's where the book will stay. I think that's enough. But as to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee, they seem to want to drag my family name down through the mud, and I'm upset about it, and my mother's upset about it. I talked to her. She's been watching me, and she was not happy at all, because the Cornette family name is one that's been respected for a long time. It has a rich heritage, and it's not something that some lowlife can come and just on national TV drag down through the mud like that. And so she said, what are we going to do about it? And I said, well, Mama, why don't we put a bounty out on them? And she said, no, that's too low. That's not something that we would do, but in business land, there's things known as incentives. And now, what we've done is put a $5,000 cash incentive for anyone that wrestles Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee and ends the match to my satisfaction. Do you understand that?
Yeah, it seems Jimmy kind of not exactly the right spirit on which to take that.
I came out here in good spirit at the beginning, and then Jerry Lawler comes out here and Bill Dundee comes out here, and they had their chance. I wanted them, but not anymore. So now they've blown it, Lance. That's all there is to it. Now, the first person, I've had negotiations with different people, but I've talked especially on the phone to Atlanta, to the Super D. And $5,000 cash, in addition to the $10,000 that Jimmy Hart and Ric Flair have worked out on Jerry Lawler's head. The Super D said for $15,000. Well, I can't tell you what he said, Lance, but I have a feeling I'm going to be satisfied in the matter of Jerry Lawler Monday night.
Well, I'm a little disappointed in the attitude. Hey, Jerry, come on. No. Hey, come on, Jimmy. Now, leave him alone. Tell you what, let's take a break. Let's take a break. Now, we're going to take a break. Take a break. We had occasion to be talking to Bill Dundee about the Steve Keirn incident, and I think everybody will get the full measure of exactly how deeply Billy and some of the guys felt about it. Let's listen to Bill.
That's right, Lance. You know, when I left him a couple of days ago, the man was depressed. He was way down. It was hard for him to talk in that interview. When we showed up with that camera, he said, oh, no, man, take it away. He said, I don't even want to talk to nobody. I don't want nobody to see me like this. Well, let me tell you something, Hart. It's bad enough when you just walk around and you go to a desk job and something happens to you and you can't do that. But anybody that plays football, baseball, or professional sport of any kind need everything that they got, from the little finger to the little toe. If anything happens to it, you're never as good as you are. Well, on Steve Keirn's bed, Lance, on a little jar, there's a piece of bone about this big that they had to cut off the elbow, Hart, because you and that chocolate drop and that Bobby Eaton beat on him with that chair. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Hart. The man called me up, and he said, Bill, he said, I hate to even do this. He said, but I can't do it by myself, man. He said, me and you drove up and down the road together. We had a million laughs. He said, and I'm out of the wrestling business. Well, let me tell you something, Daddy. If it's the last thing I can do, I'm going to kill one of them jerks that did it, Daddy, because I loved him like a brother. And I'm going to tell you something, Hart. The man may be done. He may be finished. He may not be able to feed his family. And if it's the last damn thing I do, Hart, I'm going to kill you, Jack.
Well, Steve was also a good friend, or is also a good friend of Terry Taylor. And Terry, both from Florida. And Terry said in the past that Steve has kind of helped his career along from time to time, and he feels strongly about the situation, too. Terry also had some comments about it.
Yeah, well, you know, when I started, Steve was instrumental in getting me going, like we've said. And I feel like as a friend, you know, he asked me to be his tag team partner, and it was my way of coming back and helping Steve. He said, we can win those belts. And, you know, Steve was the leader, and he took me and he helped. We did whatever we could, and then we won those titles by the rules. Well, those guys come out, they did it on purpose. They broke his arm. Well, injuries are part of wrestling, but the way this happened, that doesn't belong in wrestling at all. Well, I'll tell you, Steve, you're a friend of mine, I'm going to tell you right now, anything I can do to help you and your family, I'll do it. I'm telling you right now, Hart, Coco, where, Bobby, I don't care where it is. I'm going to do it, and it's going to be for Steve.
Well, I think that pretty well, that's just a couple of the guys. I think there are many of them that felt exactly the same way about it. Rough and tumble business, no question about it. And as Terry said, injuries are a part of it. But, I mean, senseless things like that are the things that I think irritate. Frankly, they irritate the stew out of me, and I think a lot of the fans. And it's this... win at any cost, get the publicity at any cost attitude. And the guys, I think, have an interesting philosophy about it. They're not so much interested in the commission or the alliances or whatever, taking care of the so-called bandits, you know, who use tactics like that. They like to take care of them themselves.
In their own way.
They feel like that, by God.
Double Dutch clutch puts it down to the mat. The Dutchman drops with the arm. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Look out, Hart at the end of the chain. Here comes Kamala, 1 and 2 again.
About all over with.
Yeah.
Dutch wins it, and then here comes Hart. And those two big galoons, Kamala and Plowboy. Now they're working on Dutch Mantell.
Jumping around with that cane. He got the initial smack on Dutch Mantell. They got him cut open.
Crowd hollering, we want Lawler, and I bet Dutch wishes that he had. Here comes Bobby Fulton.
Oh.
Hart wheels him with that chain.
I'm not sure Jerry's going to be in any shape to help him out after the way they worked on him out here just minutes ago.
Hart nails Bobby Fulton again as he was trying to get in, and Kamala gnawing on Mantell, whose face has been busted open.
Both of them continuing to work on Dutch Mantell. Hart just moved referee Jerry Calhoun out of the way. Bobby Fulton trying to come back into the ring and help him. But there is Lawler.
The King back out.
Whoa.
And good night from everywhere it's happening. I'm telling you. And Lawler, in fact, did come in to get Dutch out. Whew. We about got this. I'll tell you what, let's take a break right now, and we'll come back. We got a lot of matches to get in, so let's take a break right now. Taylor, we've got the highlights of it. You have got to see this kind of action. Let's take a look at it right now. Just continuing to mash that arm of Eaton. Here comes Dundee. He'll be flying off that top rope. He'll be trying to keep Eaton in there. You can bet on that. And he got away. Boy, no sooner had we said it than Bobby broke away. Tagged Sweet Brown Sugar, and now Terry goes to work on Sugar's arm. Did whale him with that chair. Brutal. Dundee on Sugar. Dundee staggered, bleeding again. outside, but here comes Sugar. He distracts the referee while Eaton gets the cane and stabs Dundee with it. Terry Taylor slammed on the concrete across the ring by Sweet Brown Sugar. We're going to have a disqualification, I believe, on Jimmy Hart. That is going to settle the official part of it, but not by any means is that going to settle the unofficial part. 9:20 was the time. Dundee with a cane going after Hart, then Eaton, now Sugar. I guess we're still operable. The equipment having been banged around. Sugar nailing Terry Taylor and Dundee with that rope standard. Now with a cane. Referee Jerry Calhoun received several shots. Disqualification, and there they go. I don't know where they are now. The official is going to be a disqualification on the team of Sugar and Eaton. But the battle rages.
That son of a gun went right into the shower. What a wild affair that was. Dundee and Terry Taylor and Sugar and Eaton. A blazing piece of tag action. We got some tag action still to go, and we're going to be looking at Billy and Terry Taylor coming up in just a moment after we take time out. Dundee and Terry Taylor coming up in a tag action bout in just a moment. Right now, I want to add a little pulchritude to championship wrestling we have not had for quite some time. Some of the gals there, and we want to bring out Vivian St. John. Hi, Vivian. Good to have you out here. And Velvet McIntyre. Vivian from Fort Lauderdale. Here, come around here if you would, hon. There we go. And Velvet, you're from Dublin, Ireland, right? Yeah. By golly, we're glad to be able to tell the folks that we hope maybe you're going to be around the area for a little while, Vivian.
Yeah, Mr. Russell, we understand that you have a lot of battle royals here and elimination matches.
Yeah, we have tag elimination, which I think with the wrestling fans is becoming one of the bigger things that we've had around a long time. And, of course, the battle royals are notorious. This was the home of the biggest one in the world. 50-man battle royal we had at one time.
That's right, and I'd like you to know that equal rights is now here. We have equal rights with the men. And any time that we're booked in an elimination match or battle royal, if someone tags out, we're going to go in and wrestle the men.
Well, in the mixed man and ladies tag match previously, the rules are such that when a man tags in, the other man comes in, or when the lady tags in, then the other lady comes in. And you are proposing that all of this be changed?
Well, that's right. I mean, we have equal rights, and it's ridiculous for us just to jump out. You know, if there's a man there, we have the right to wrestle him.
I'm a little. How do you feel about this,
I
Velvet?
feel the same way.
You feel like you ought to be able to get in there and compete with them and compete for the same kind of purses? Well, on Battle Royals, if the entry fee is $100, I guess you're figuring if you got the $100, then there's no reason that they shouldn't put you right in there with them.
Hey, if we got the money, we got the right to win the big money, right?
Well, that's, you know that you're going to be giving away a lot of weight with some of this.
If I'm in the Bell Royal, Don, I wish you luck. If I'm in the Bell Royal, I wish you luck. I know we're a kiss-kiss fight, so we'll do something.
So Jerry Taylor and Vivian St. John. Well, yeah, good luck is about what I can say, and we're going to be looking forward to seeing you here.
Well, I hope that Mr. Invincible Jimmy Hart might be in the battle royal that I hear you're having tonight, because we got a surprise for him.
I love it. I love it. Velvet, thank you for coming out here with us. Time for us to get in the ring now and some more action. So let's go to Davey and our tag action match.
We got a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match coming up here. Total weight of 482 pounds. Introducing from New Orleans, Louisiana, the Dream Machine, and his partner from Atlanta, Georgia, Carl Fergie. Going against him at a total of 429. From Vero Beach, Florida, Terry Taylor. And from Australia, superstar Bill Dundee. This match one-fall, 15-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun, the referee.
Yeah, that's a good question. Who is starting? Dundee is outside, but on this side, we've got Carl Fergie stepping out, Dave, and the Dream starting against Terry Taylor.
Dream Machine, Terry Taylor. Terry from Vero Beach, Florida, part of that Florida School of Wrestling. And boy, those Florida guys have looked good around here in the last few weeks and months. Going against a trimmed-down Dream Machine. When he first came into the area, he was at 270. Lost a lot of weight, picked up a lot of speed as a result. He tags out. Here's Carl Fergie. Fergie smacking Terry Taylor's head into the turnbuckle. The end of the corner after him with a foot, a fist, and a foot to the midsection again. Cover by Carl Fergie. Count of one is all he gets. There's a tag by Fergie on the Dream Machine. The old Taylor back on the ropes while a Dream Machine uses a double forearm across the back. Taylor off the ropes. Got it in the midsection. A little over a minute gone in this one. Oh, the power slam by Dream. One. Bill Dundee is there. He grabbed the foot and broke the cover at the count of one. His Dream Machine looks like he might have had a chance for the 3 count after a power slam on Terry Taylor. Taylor picked up by the hair. Machine reversed. Taylor went into the corner after him, and Dream Machine lifted the knee. Tag made in the Dream Machine Fergie corner. Oh, Fergie, vicious upper arm. Taylor coming off the rope. Foot across the throat, he's choking, and the referee calls for the break as a result. Dundee around the ring. He's put back to the corner. Go, Terry, go! The crowd chanting. Taylor puts it down. He gets a 1 count. A Dream Machine from behind. Broke that one up before he could get a 3 count. Now Dundee and Dream Machine getting into it over here. Fergie grabbing Dundee from behind. Dream Machine, meanwhile, heads for Terry Taylor. Dream Machine whips Taylor into the turnbuckle. Into the knee of Carl Fergie in the corner. Fergie comes in after the tag. Terry Taylor, been in there a long time. We're coming up on the 3-minute mark. 3 minutes gone in this match. Terry Taylor being worked on by Fergie. Now the Dream Machine after the tag. To the ropes again. Dream Machine has him in the air. Body slam. Machine out of the corner, a little extra string, sits down. Taylor rolling out of the way. Jab in the throat by the Dream Machine. Off the rope. Taylor takes the upper arm. Dream Machine makes the tag. Taylor trying to make it to the corner. He doesn't do it. Fergie slams him. Goes to the rope. Oh, drops down with the knee. Cover by Carl Fergie. Down to one. Dundee steps in to break it up at the 1 count. Four minutes gone now. 4 minutes into the action. Bill Dundee and Terry Taylor against the Dream Machine and Carl Fergie. So far, it's been pretty much Fergie and the Dream Machine. They have kept Terry Taylor in there. Fergie tried to get him off his feet. Taylor would not be moved. Instead, he dropped Carl Fergie. Fergie makes the tag. Taylor loose for a moment, but cannot get to the corner. He reverses Dream Machine. Drops him over the back. But as he did so, Dream Machine got him down to his knees, so Taylor unable to get to the corner again. For the tag on his partner. Fergie back in. Using the forearm, now the choke back in the corner. The referee's there trying to back him up. Dundee trying to even it up. There was 2 against 1 back in the corner. Taylor really being battered by Dream Machine and Fergie. Slammed by the Dream Machine. He's to the corner, on the rope. Flashes off the rope, but Taylor moves. He gets the tag, and here is Bill Dundee. Dundee working on both of them. Look out, here comes Hart. And a first.
Come on, Dundee now. An eye for an eye, Dundee. Come on, big man. Come on, you want Jimmy Hart? Well, you got him, baby. And you can bring those ugly girls better back. I think those were men dressed up like girls out there, man. No woman's going to beat me. No woman's going to do anything to the first family, so bring them on. An eye for an eye.
Bill Dundee is covered with, I don't know what that is, red paint or what. Well, whatever it is, Hart threw it.
An eye for an eye, Dundee, an eye for an eye. Bring those women on. They ain't women wrestlers, man. They dance at a go-go club somewhere. Look at that dog.
Jimmy.
He's got a nose as big as you, Russell.
Get out of here, will you? We don't need to hear any of that stuff. Boy, you are beautiful. I mean to tell you. Thank goodness Stan Lane, Buddy Landell, and Bobby Fulton got in there. They're taking Billy back now to wash out. I don't know
what it was, but he threw it right in his eyes when he came in there. But Taylor and Bill Dundee are going to get the win, technically. They're on disqualification of the first family, but not much consolation to Dundee at the moment. Time on it was 5:42, to say the least.
Okay, we're going to take time out. We'll be back with more action coming up in just a moment.
With our opening bout in just a moment, but we wanted to bring you up to date as we had introduced some time ago you folks to Jimmy Cornette, who was interested in getting into the wrestling business as a manager. Jimmy, we've had a couple of rough sessions out here. Hopefully today we won't have a repeat of any.
Well, Lance, today we're not going to have a repeat of anything that I've had before. We're going to have some success today because I am so happy. What have I been coming out here and telling you that I was going to do?
You are looking for
Don't
talent.
interrupt me. I have been coming out here and I've been telling you. And if these people would be quiet, you're not even going to upset me today. I'm happy because I've been telling you that I wanted champions. And today I have not one, but 2 champions, Lance. Do you understand that?
That you've already
I'm happy about it. That I have signed up, and I would like to introduce one of them right now, and I'm going to bring her out. One half of the North American Tag Team Champions, Miss Sherry Martel. And she is lovely, isn't she, Lance? Come on over.
Indeed. And now you...
Yes.
Sherry Martel and
You know, the
manager
reason
Jimmy Cornette.
that the other half of the North American Tag Team Champions ladies division is not here today, besides the fact that these people couldn't take two girls this good looking in one place, is because she had to go to the hairdresser. But I assure you, she will be joining us shortly. And Lance, all I can say is, can I make an investment or can I make an investment?
I want to ask Sherry something. Sherry, I don't know, how do you feel about signing with a manager that really doesn't have any experience in professional wrestling?
Mr. Russell, I got one thing to say. Money talks, and you know what walks.
Well, I guess that ends that conversation. And, okay, Sherry Martel and Jimmy
And
Cornette.
I have my first champion, and Lance, she saw my wallet, and
I get the idea. Okay, well, we're going to see Sherry in action right here. The only thing I can say is good luck to you, and good luck to you, Jimmy. We'll get a debut of Jimmy in action right here if we can break up the That's all we got. Okay, David. One thing after another.
Oh, indeed it is. Well, this match is going to be a one-fall 15-minute time limit match. Introducing first from Dublin, Ireland, at 152 pounds, Velvet McIntyre on the right of your screen. And going against her from New Orleans, Louisiana, at 140 pounds, with her manager, Jimmy Cornette, Sherry Martel. This match one-fall 15-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun is the referee.
Okay, one fall 15. Sherry's out of her jacket, and so is Velvet. And this will be the first look that we've seen of Jimmy Cornette's first signee, Sherry Martel. Bell Diamond, here we go, going against Velvet McIntyre, David.
Velvet with Sherry back on the rope. Jerry Calhoun calling for the break. Got it back on the rope. And we're back to center of the ring. This time, Velvet put Sherry Martel on the ropes. Whoop, little hair pulling by Sherry Martel.
I want a clean break off the rope.
Take it, tell her to get out.
Listen to me.
Now, a little discussion here between the referee and Sherry Martel. Jimmy Cornette smiling in the corner over there. Velvet McIntyre with a headlock, but Sherry Martel picked her up. Velvet hung on. Sherry had the shoulders down briefly. Velvet kicks out of the head scissors. Both have them back on their feet. Velvet McIntyre, side headlock. Sherry Martel over in the corner. Martel, double fist. Martel, whoop. Flip off the top rope on Velvet. Velvet across the ring and it follows with a drop kick. Velvet McIntyre goes again with a side headlock. 1 minute 40 seconds gone in this match. One fall only. Velvet driven to the mat with a forearm and a fist. Hard to tell from this vantage point. Body slam by Sherry Martel and a cover. One. Down to two. Velvet McIntyre able to break the cover. Sherry Martel with a flip on Velvet McIntyre off the rope. Looks at Jimmy Cornette and says, okay, I got her now. Velvet leaps over, presses Sherry down to the mat. 1, 2, and a 2 count is all she gets. 2.5 minutes gone, 2.5 gone. Sherry Martel again out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Jimmy Cornette making the announcement just before the match that he had signed Sherry to a contract. Velvet McIntyre out of Dublin, Ireland. Sherry Martel with a drop kick. Velvet McIntyre on the mat. Count of 1. Velvet able to break the cover at the 1 count. Right hand. Velvet answers with the right hand. Velvet. Like she was going for a flying head scissors and missed it, but she converted it into a reverse headlock.
Yeah, it looked like Cherry stood up right at the last minute and threw the timing off, but Velvet adjusted to it very, very nicely. Uh-oh.
Terry Martell fires her into the rope. Terry with a suplex. And a cover. 1, 2, and 3. Terry Martell with the win. He's smiling. Manager Jimmy Cornette is happy. The time on it, 3 minutes, 45 seconds.
Oh, no. Jimmy holding up a mirror so Cherry can fix her hair after the match in there. She did. Yeah, I can believe you're reaching for your wallet already, Jimmy. I can tell. One of those cases where just that little missed thing in there, that flying head scissors, it might have turned the entire thing around. But Terry Martell went up on her and she adjusted to the thing, but then Martell started to work and got herself a win out of it with a big suplex in there. 3 minutes and something we had, 45 seconds. Action, we got plenty of it. Going to be back. We'll be talking with the King coming up in just a moment. Will be their opponents in that bout.
And I'm going to say one thing. It's going to be a busy, busy night for the Dutch Club. Music City, let me tell you one thing. We're going to have a battle royal with the women in it, too. Is that correct? And that means if women get in the ring with men, then they're liable to get drilled, right? Well, if they get in my way, they're going to get drilled. I'm sure Terry feels the same thing. If they want equal rights, then they got to take the equal fights, is all I got to say. And I got 2 matches coming up with the Kamala 1 and 2, and I got to get out of that one first. But the big match that I'm interested in is Bobby Eaton and Coco Ware with Jimmy Hart. Now, last week, they got me down. He strapped me. They strapped Terry Taylor, and I'm getting tired of it, baby. But this week, we beat you last time. But tonight in Nashville, we're going to win again, and we're going to take those belts. And after we take it, I'm going to bring this whip out. I'm going to give you a taste of this leather. How you feel, Terry?
I tell you, these guys go around and try to beat up everybody. They take whips, chairs, it doesn't matter, belts. Well, this time I'm going to be at ringside. I'm going to have my own belt. When we get done with these 2 guys, we're going to beat them. We're going to beat them for those straps because they took them from us. They didn't beat us for them. They took them. When we get done beating them in the middle of the ring, we're going to take these straps and we're going to let them have it all over the ring.
But we got plenty of action in that ring. But right now, an opportunity to bring in Southern Heavyweight Champion, the King, Jerry Lawler. Jerry.
Lance.
Yeah, well, I guess that took care of that.
That's it. I'll see you.
I am delighted to see you here in one piece because I know you've had some rugged competition here in the last few weeks.
That's right. I had something I want to talk about, and the more I've been standing in the back, I'm thinking, well, I don't know if I want to talk about it that much or not. But I guess since I'm here, I will.
Yes, do please.
I wanted to relate a little incident that took place a week or so ago with me. As you know, it took place in Memphis at the Coliseum. I was over visiting someone there at the Coliseum, and a lot of the people were coming by picking up some advance reservation tickets and things like that. And a little short black gentleman came up to the window there, and I was in the back talking with someone, and he saw me there, and he said, he knocked on the window, and he said, "Come here. Now, I've been looking for you for a long time. I've been needing to talk to you real bad." So I went over to the window, and I said, "Yeah, what do you need?" I mean, now this is the first time I'd ever laid eyes on the guy, but I guess, he sees me every week, so he said, I got something that I want to ask you. I want to know, and I'm trying to anticipate what he's going to ask me. I didn't have any idea. He says, "I want to know what's wrong." And I said, "Well, what's wrong with what?" And he said, "I want to know what's wrong. What's wrong with you?" And I said, I was dressed nice. I had my hair combed, shaved, and everything. I thought, I don't know what is wrong. What are you talking about? And he said, "Well, I just wondered what's happened to you." He said, "I've been coming to the matches for years," and he said, "I've been watching you, and he said, lately, every time you go in the ring, he said, you take one of the worst beatings that I've ever seen, He said they pound on you, and he said it seems like it takes so much until you finally get mad or until you finally do something. He said, I just wonder what it is. Are you getting old, or are you just washed up, or what is the problem? That's what he said, you know. And I said, well, I said, you know, I hadn't really thought about it. I didn't know what to tell the guy. So what I did, I went and, like I said, I hadn't thought that much about it, so I went 2 days later, and I went and I talked with our film man in Nashville, Randy West, who films most of the matches. And I said, Randy, could I look back at some of the films of my recent matches? And I told him what the gentleman had said, and he said, well, he said, let me get a few little film clips and put them together, and I'll show you what some of your recent matches have looked like. And so he put this together, and if I brought it with me, and I want you to
I think
take
it's
a look
set up and ready to go. Is it okay? Let's go ahead and, yeah, here we go.
And Kamala goes for that throat again as he has Lawler in the corner. Can't see. Looks like Jerry's eyes bleeding. Oh, boy. He is really going after Lawler now. And Von Roschka rattles Lawler with one and puts Jerry on his back. Picks Lawler up. Backbreaker. Throws him down. Drops with a large elbow. And he nails Lawler with that claw and bounces him down on the ground. Lawler kicking, trying to get out from under it. Super D slams Lawler's shoulder into the top turnbuckle. Super D steps out on the apron, snaps that arm off the top rope. Lawler is down. Tried to hip toss him, couldn't make it go, though. And a body slam. Oh, Super D right down the small of the back. Both legs across the back. 12 minutes in, and the referee counts him off. Ooh. The King takes a big knee right in the back. Man, look at him fire Lawler around that ring. Lawler with a side headlock picked up in the air, and he's tossed off. His knees buckled on that one, and again. And Lawler shoved into that turnbuckle. Gang on a whip. Boy, what a clothesline. I mean, the crowd is just sitting stunned. They are just absolutely sitting in disbelief. And a splash from the one-man gang, and he doesn't even try for a pin.
Now, after looking at that, I can see what the gentleman was talking about.
Well, I could, too. And, like I said, you know, it hadn't dawned on me that much. I hadn't thought that much about it. I had noticed possibly it been a little harder to get out of bed in the morning and things like that, maybe being a little more sore. And after watching the film there, that could possibly be the reason why. I've been doing a little too much catching and not enough pitching. So what I did, I said, well, Randy, now I realized that's an edited film, and I said, you know, I had to have a little offense in there somewhere. You know, I am the Southern Heavyweight Champion.
Still got the title.
That's right. And I said, can't you find anything of me looking kind of good? And he said, well, tell you what I'll do. He said, I'll try to. And what he had to do was he had to go back. Now, I'm not talking about just back a few matches like you see these recent ones. He had to go way back in the film library to find some of the old Kings, and he put that together for me. And I brought a little bit of that, and I kind of like the looks of this. If you can run this for just a second, I think we can talk over this. Now, as you can see, this is a little more, like I said, a little more offensive Lawler here. Now, I realize that I may not be wrestling against some of the guys that you've seen me against lately. There it is, when I had some of the matches against Bill. But what I figured out when watching this kind of stuff, I didn't take nearly the abuse then that I have been taking lately. And I am tired of taking that kind of abuse. And so what I just wanted to do was put everybody on notice, and all of those wrestlers that Hart has, or any of these wrestlers that intend to get in the ring with me from now on, I want them to watch this film very closely right here.
Famous Lawler barbecue right there. Yeah, I remember those chains, and so do a lot of guys that you won against, Jerry.
Well, all I'm saying is this, Lance. What the people just saw on that film there is the old King. And I've won not 60, 70, or 80% of my matches, but I'd say about 99% of them. And I am tired and sick and fed up of people like Hart bringing in all of these clowns and abusing my body. And I'm telling them right now that what they just saw on this TV is what they're going to see from the King from now on, brother. So I want Hart. I hope you watch that real closely, and I hope you tell all of those clowns that you got in mind of bringing in from now on, because you just saw what they got in store for them, brother. The old King is back from now on.
Yeah, well, obviously some of the folks would be interested in seeing that. Forewarned is forearmed, Jimmy Hart and company. We're going to take time out now. I'll be back to the ring in a moment.
David, that we were going to have a chance to see the Sheep Herders. Now, here's a tag team that has quite a reputation. We've got the land of tag teams right in the Mid-South area, and so it's no wonder that another one will come looking for the richest in this event, because we've got the Southern tag titles here. We've got, right at the present time, the WWA World Tag titles. The Sheep Herders. And let's take a look at them in action.
Every bloody yank out there to know one thing. And we're not talking to you people that sit home and watch the bloody TV. We're talking to the wrestlers. We have come to this country to destroy Americans. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We've been champions in 37 different countries. We are the holders of the most prestigious titles in the world. And we're here. And you people better know it. When we tell you that we're going to break your arms, we're going to break your arms. And if we tell you we're going to break your neck, we're going to break your neck. And just to prove that we're not just another pretty face up here yelling out, "Fred, we've got something to show you," and I want every wrestler out there to be watching this. As you can see, our teamwork is so far better than any other team in the world that we know exactly what we're doing every minute of the time. We're cousins. We're the New Zealand Sheep Herders. We are the best there is in wrestling today, and we'll be in your area soon. And when we crack heads, we'll crack them. And when we crack them good. We're going to go out to hurt wrestlers, not just to win matches. We don't care about that. We only care about what happens in our country when they get the paper clipping saying, "Another Yank crippled," or "Another American put out of the professional wrestling business." And that's all this is. This is a business. It's just like opening a gas station opposite another gas station. You want that gas station out of business. And we're here to put wrestlers out of business. We're not here to make friends. We're here to show you people exactly what this flag here represents. We carry this flag with us everywhere we go. This flag not only represents our country, New Zealand, this flag here represents the team of the Sheep Herders. We are unbeatable, and we will never be beaten. 37 different countries we've been champions, as I said, and in this country, there is not a septic tank yank that can beat us. And now, you restless, when we're coming to your area, and you hear that we're coming, I want you to listen to this poem, and you listen good, because you better know it when we get there. And it goes like this. You fans have seen the wrestling game's best. Men from all nations with hair on their chest. Some you admired and some you have hate. And some were so lousy, they just didn't rate. But who is the greatest of all present and past? The kid from down under. That roll him up fast. Who are these men? These men of such fame? They're sheep herders. That's their name. You learn that name. You learn to fear that name.
Sheep herder.
When you get in that ring, be prepared. Be prepared to be hurt. Because we are the best, and you are the rest.
Well, a modest little speech from one of the New Zealand sheep herders, and some pretty impressive action in there, as a matter of fact. I well remember when Barnes and Dundee hit the country, and I just have to harken back to that to think about the sheep herders who will be in the Mid-South area right now. Continuing our conversation about tag teams, we told you that Jimmy Hart said he had another big surprise for us, and here he is with it.
Look, can I borrow your microphone? I've got to do this right. I've got to do this right. Come on, y'all guys asleep on the camera. Come on over here. Bring the camera over here. You know, how many times has Jimmy Hart told you he was going to bring the greatest attraction to this area? How many times? Tell me, how many times? And I've always done it, haven't I? I've always done it, haven't I? That's right. I brought you Kamala 1 and Kamala 2. I brought you handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Valiant brothers, the Graham. I brought you everybody. But I have outdone myself this time. I have really outdone myself this time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and I use the word ladies and gentlemen very, very loosely out here talking to you now, but I put my mind to work. And I put together, Lance Russell, the greatest team in professional wrestling to date. And I'm going to bring them out. I want you people, come on, I want everybody to stand up. I want everybody up. Everybody up. Come on, you idiot people over there, up. Put your hands together and welcome the greatest team in professional wrestling, the New York Dolls. The New York Dolls, baby! The New York Dolls! Look at them! Aren't they beautiful, Russell? Aren't they beautiful? Come here, boys! Come here, dolls! Come here! Woo! Beautiful! Beautiful, baby! Beautiful! The New York Dolls, baby! Aren't they gorgeous? Now, looking at the sheep herders and looking at this is class, man. A touch of class right here. I can't believe this. Boys, I want you, dolls, look, I want you to take your jackets off, and I want you to show all these, I could say lovely, but they sure ain't lovely, all these girls over here, the most beautiful bodies in professional wrestling today, right here. Come on, eat your heart out, baby. Look at this. Come on, pose for them, baby. Look at this. You know, I put together, like I said, the greatest team in professional wrestling in the Dolls. Now, I already have super team. I'm so excited. I already told you today. Sugar and Eaton are a great team. They're my number one team, baby. And then, of course, I've got Kamala 1 and 2, and they're number one. And now I've got another number one team in the New York Dolls. Take his jacket off and show these muscles. Now, a lot of people are saying, hey, that's the Dream Machine. And you are right. This is the Dream Machine for the first time, unmasked. The legend, baby, co-holder of the Southern Heavyweight Championship titles for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, baby. Co-holder of the Southern Heavyweight Championship. What, he didn't co-hold it? What am I talking? Like I said, I'm so excited I can't even talk. He was the Southern champion for 5 or 6 months, baby. And now I've got them together, the Dolls, Rick McGraw, and the Dream Machine, baby, the New York Dolls. So let me tell you something, boys. We've got a championship match with Hubert and Steve Regal. That's right. The big one, baby, for the world belt. The world belts. I said, I'm not going to put this team together unless we start on top, right? And so this is where we're starting, baby, is on top tonight, the world belt. And I will make you people a promise. And I know I've said it before, but I promise you I've got a stack of Bibles this high. I promise all my fans out there right now, you've got my word on this of being a gentleman. that tonight, if we do not win those world belts tonight, or any time, if we don't win them any time we face anybody, then I promise you right now that Jimmy Hart will leave this whole territory.
Well, I think it's
I will leave
you
it.
will what?
I promise you, I will leave it. I will never, ever come back the rest of my life.
You mean, and I know you were smart enough to be able to get a world title match right off the bat for these guys, that when these guys, your New York Dolls, meet the world tag champions, Regal and Huber, that if they don't win the title the first time they meet him, that meet them, you are gone.
I will leave this whole territory, baby. No matter.
I have heard everything.
You've got it now. You've got me mad, and nobody gets me mad. I promise you. Just because of that, we will be the world champions. And I promise you, if I don't, like I said, I'm a man of my word, I will leave this whole area, and you will never see me again. But they're going to be the new world champions. I promise you that.
You said it, and I will remember it. When that match comes up between the New York Dolls and Steve Regal and Spike Huber, and if Regal and Huber should retain their world title, Jimmy Hart has said, bye-bye. You heard him, and I heard him, and there they go. The rather boisterous new team of Jimmy Hart, the New York Dolls. We're going to take time out to watch our expiration tag action coming up in just a moment.
Jerry Lawler.
I think it's no secret to anybody out there that one of the toughest men that I've ever stepped in the ring against in my entire career has been Dutch Mantell. No matter what you think about Dutch personally, you've got to admit, and you got to respect his wrestling ability because he's one of the best. The guy's capable of beating anybody that he steps in the ring with, and I know this for a fact because he's beaten me in the past. You see, I think a lot of people think that all the wrestlers are friends and big pals just because maybe they see them as partners. They probably think they're best friends. Well, this is not always the case because, you see, it's hard to form a lasting friendship with somebody when you may wind up wrestling them somewhere down the line.